Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 17th June 2023. My name is TSV Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube. Haribol TRSV Nectar NECTAR Nectar. In this particular vlog and all my previous videos, we have been discussing about the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video in the vlog is no exception to that rule. In fact, it is a mere continuation of what we have been doing in my past few videos. Let us discuss the topic of today in this particular video. Kindly subscribe to this vlog and press the bell icon so that I may keep reminding you of all my previous videos. So let us begin. According to some intellectuals, historians, erudite scholars, and other such wise people, and according to their own research and analysis, the area of ancient Sumeria worshipped some deities who were called Anunnakis. Before concluding or before continuing with our discussion about my opinion about these deities, let us first delve into this subject further so that we will understand the problem better. Anunnaki. According to these scholars, this solar system of ours or some other solar system in the galaxy to which we belong has one planet called Nibiru. This planet has a long or very huge orbit of the sun that it revolves around, as a result of which it takes a complete 2000 years or so to take a complete circle of the sun. Now, this particular Nibiru had a very evolved, intelligent, and educated population of people who were far ahead of those who we call as earthlings and who happen to be our own forefathers. These people wanted to fill a hole in their atmosphere, ionosphere, and stratosphere so that their own planet will be saved of disaster or calamity. It had a lot of copper deposit in it. To save this particular planet, according to its own erudite scholars, needed gold. So some people from the planet went in search of gold to fill the hole in the stratosphere, atmosphere, or ionosphere. At that time, when they were searching, they came across a planet which was our own, which today we call as Earth. Here they found a huge deposit of gold, either inside the ocean or outside it. Their spaceship landed on the planet, and those people excavated this place and surveyed the area to see how they could transport the gold from here to Nibiru. At that time, there were two categories of people there. The superior were called Anunnaki and the inferior were called Igigi. The Anunnakis transported some Igigis to the planet Earth to dig gold for transportation to Nibiru. This toil was quite hard and painful, as a result of which one day these Igigis revolted against the Anunnakis and there was a big fight between the two, as a result of which the Igigis left the earth. At that time, the Anunnakis thought that if in some way they are able to civilize the cavemen in the earth and make them work for the Anunnakis, those people will dig out the gold for the Anunnakis to be transported to Nibiru. For this, because of their own extraordinary knowledge, they changed the genes, DNA, etc. of the same cavemen through their own biological experiments where they took their own genes and mixed it with that of the caveman. As a result of which, a new species was born, which is our own, that is, the current human beings. These current human beings became eternally grateful to the Anunnakis, so much so that they began considering these Anunnakis who were actually aliens as deities. They worshipped these Anunnakis, and worship actually means complete adherence to their orders and slavery to them or to anyone. In that worship, they slogged day and night for the Anunnaki, and in return, they got knowledge about various subjects, and they could now learn how to cultivate grain for the people and get food for the population, plus graze sheep, cattle, etc. Thus, civilization began in the earth. This is the original story. Now, here I would like to ponder over this subject to find out my own conclusions, which are totally spiritual and not material. Kindly remember that any spirit spark, whether any spirit spark, whether it is from the earth or from any other place or from any species, is a spirit spark originally from the spirit whole. This spirit whole or spiritual fire is considered to be the original power and called God. We are all a part of that spiritual whole. We, every individual is a spirit spark, whether or not he is human, divine, or demonic, or from any species which is a living entity in this material world. Earth and Nibiru, etc., all are just material worlds. They are not spiritual. In other words, Anunnakis, Igigis, Nephilim giants, etc., are at best alien human or living entities. They may not be human, they are living entities. They are totally material. And the material world, as far as us mortals are concerned, is very huge and it comprises of several species and several planets. The spirit world is very, very different from this. When the spirit spark flies out of the spirit hole and gets attracted to this material world, it becomes a soul. When this soul comes in touch with the material world, it is enveloped by four layers of material body, which are first layer causal intelligence, second layer astral mind of emotions and feelings, third layer of etheric senses, and the fourth layer of gross body. Changing of genes is done only in the gross body and it affects the brain tissue of the gross body. Kindly remember this. There are four layers, of which the fourth is called gross body. When somebody changes the genes of a particular living entity, then it is in the gross body, and this may at best change the brain of that particular living entity. What is a living entity? A living entity is a combination of the soul, the spirit soul, and the four layers of the material body. Whatever research, analysis, experiment, changes, etc. are being made, they are being made only on the material level. In other words, Anunnakis, Igigis, cavemen, animals, beasts, and other living entities, whether in Nibiru or on the earth, are all material. They are not spiritual. Every caveman or our forefather also initially had a spirit spark in him or her, same as there was a spirit spark in every Anunnaki or Igigi. So, this way, spiritually, we are not different. Yes, It is another matter that Anunnaki, Igigi, etc. were far more evolved, knowledgeable, intelligent, and capable than our own forefathers, the cavemen at that time. That does not in any way make them gods, because God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the creator of all this, the unknown power that has created everything, is spiritual, it is not material. And because it is spiritual, it does not interfere in the material world. And Anunnaki, etc., did their experience on the materialistic plane on other material species, one of them being our own forefathers. So, probably Sumerians and other ancient civilizations were not so correct when they tried to consider these Anunnakis as gods. They were at best very evolved aliens, but they were as material as we all are. Only because of their superiority in intelligence, knowledge, maturity, and experience, the cavemen of yore looked at them at in awe, and thought that because they came from another planet, they were gods. They are not. At best, you can consider them celestial beings. Some may call them angels also, but I don't think it would be correct to call them even demigods, because demigods control various powers on the material plane for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hence, Anunnaki, Igigi, etc. don't come under that category. They were as mortals as we are. Probably they had a longer life, more capability, more material success, but spiritually, if an ordinary earthling tries, he or she can become self realized on his or her own without the help of these deities or so called deities called Anunnakis and Igigis. The spirit spark in every caveman or every species, whether on the earth or in any other planet, are same, and they are spiritual, and they help that particular living entity to get self realized, one day get liberated from repeated births and deaths in various planets, and go back to the Supreme Personality of Godhead one day or the other. This is some conclusion that I have arrived at to give some information from my side as my own opinion to all of you people who are students of spiritualism and materialism. These things may probably contribute to your own knowledge, thoughts, opinions, ideas, etc., and you may come across your own theory regarding this. I sincerely hope that this theory throws some light into the difference between spiritualism and materialism and the living entities of the earth as well as other planets. Kindly remember that all planets are not spiritual, they are only material. They belong to the inferior energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These cannot compare with God when it comes to ultimate power. As far as the spiritual whole is concerned, the spirit spark, whether it is in any living entity in any planet, whether Earth or any other planet, is the same, and it is only the material cocoon which makes all the difference. So kindly don't be under the wrong impression that Anunnakis or Igigis were gods because they were as material as we all are. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this particular matter. Kindly remember this, that I am saying this only because I wish that every spiritual student ultimately gets self realized, learns about his or her original spiritual self, gets liberated from repeated births and deaths, and goes back to the spiritual whole of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please give me your own ideas, thoughts, opinions, and views in this matter so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, let me remind you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.